This is genuinely insane as we have a shocking new Lakers trade update to go over today as a report has dropped revealing not only an absolutely wild trade surrounding Rob Pelinka and the Mavericks, but one that has fans very split. We're going to break down this new report and discuss what it means going forward, as well as a bunch of other things on this episode, including JJ Redick getting pretty frustrated after yesterday's loss to the media. Ton to go over on this episode, ladies and gentlemen. But before we get into it all, you guys have been absolute beasts of the support. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying the daily Lakers content. And thank you guys again for your support over here. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot to go over today. Lakers, pretty brutal loss yesterday. The loss to the short-handed Atlanta Hawks. We're going to dive into some comments from JJ Redick here shortly. But some new news has emerged and a brand new report has dropped recently. And I covered some of this report, and it's that the Mavericks, and it is no secret that the Mavericks and Nico Harrison's front office will explore what return exists for Klay Thompson before the trade deadline, and that they are willing to potentially move off of Klay Thompson if the right deal is found. Now, of course, there's also Daniel Gafford as a part of this, and I had a video covering that about how it would be a heist for the Lakers if they were able to acquire Daniel Gafford. But we're going to be touching on Klay Thompson today because after this report dropped that the Mavericks are potentially interested or very interested in moving off of him if things continue to spiral, because we know in Dallas they aren't winning games. Cooper Flag hasn't looked amazing. He hasn't looked bad, but he hasn't looked amazing. Of course, Kyrie Irving's injury, all these different things. They are open to moving Klay Thompson. And this has sparked a ton of debate, including a recent article that dropped here revealing that the Lakers could reunite Nico Harrison and Rob Pelinka in a Klay Thompson deal. Another potential Nico Harrison and Rob Pelinka trade could materialize. Financially, the Lakers possess rotational assets that could facilitate a Thompson acquisition. They could send Gabe Vincent or Vanderbilt as a primary piece, adding Dalton Knecht to incentivize Dallas to include, of course, a draft pick along Thompson. I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. However, this is where things started to pick up. Now, people have started to talk about, okay, if they are willing to trade Thompson, would this be a good fit for the Lakers? You know, they could use some scoring. Their bench has been pretty bad to start the season. You know, Gabe Vincent hasn't been great. I mean, I don't want to say the bench has been bad. Let me rephrase that because some guys have been good. Jake LaRavia and the Lakers overall have been playing, pretty good basketball, right? The Lakers have been. However, they did lose yesterday, and there is some players like Gabe Vincent and others who aren't really, whether because of injury or because of just not playing well, they aren't playing well. Now, as a result, there's been a ton of speculation recently, a ton of tweets, a ton of rumors about a Klay Thompson trade, and I want to dive into it. Now, this is just one, and I'm going to dive into a few of them. I'm curious to see what you guys think about it because it's a little bit insane. So this one here, send the trade, Dallas, gives you cap relief going into next season with a healthy Kyrie and AD and second-year flag, and you could sing a nice player to level everything out. And, of course, it would basically be dumping the contract to Klay Thompson, also including Daniel Gafford, for Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, Knecht, Jackson Hayes, and a second-round pick. Now, there is a lot of ways that things could go here. Now, keep in mind, is a trade super likely for the Lakers and Klay Thompson? I don't necessarily think so because of Thompson's salary. Obviously, 2 years, $16 million, which isn't crazy, but at the same time, if you're the Lakers, you have to be asking yourself, does it make sense to grab Klay? And ultimately, it depends how LeBron James's health is looking. Does he want to play with Klay Thompson? All these different things. But there was also some other, trades that have emerged here, like this one here, which is a bit more simple, and it is Gabe Vincent and Dalton Knecht for Klay Thompson straight up. So if you're the Mavericks, you get some cap relief off of Klay Thompson because you don't have to pay him next year the guaranteed money. And if you're the Lakers, you get what you would assume would be an upgrade, right? Because Gabe Vincent, he had a decent run in Miami. He's had okay spurts with the Lakers. I don't think he's going to make a huge impact going forward. And Dalton Knecht, I mean, he's falling out of the rotation, isn't really doing a whole lot either. Now, in Klay Thompson, is he washed? I don't think so. I think especially if he's surrounded by really good players, especially like Luka Doncic, he could be really good. And Klay Thompson went over there because Luka was on the team before their brief run together, and then they split up, of course, at the trade deadline. But for the Lakers, you put yourself, you're taking on a bigger contract, but you don't have to give up picks. And this might be the easiest way to acquire an asset without giving up your picks. We know Rob Pelinka has been very adamant about keeping a lot of his draft picks up until this trade deadline so they can address the needs that ultimately need to be addressed once the trade deadline comes, whether that be in the form of a trade for, it probably won't be a big man, but a 3-and-D asset. There's a lot of ways to go around this. But this one's interesting. Now, Klay this year has been pretty rough, right? 7 points a game. But I think a lot of that is less so about his talent and more so just about how bad the team has been around him, because he's obviously had to take a bit of a step back. He joined Dallas from Golden State in order to really try to win with Luka. And with Luka, he did pretty good. Last year's season was okay, 14 points a game, still shot 39% from three. This year, his three-point percentage has fallen off a cliff. It hasn't been good. And as a result, some would argue that this is an overpay for Klay Thompson, like a lot of the trades we're talking about here. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Let me know down below, would you do this insane trade? If you're not giving up any draft picks, I don't hate it. I don't think Dalton Knecht at this point in time has a huge amount of trade value necessarily. But in the same vein, it'll be interesting to see what happens. And let me know down below specifically what you guys think about it. Here's another potential one. Gabe Vincent, Kleber, Knecht, Hayes in a second. And of course, you get a first round pick back, or a swap rather, which is another interesting one as well, because you got to ask yourself what the value of these guys is. Will the Mavericks have to pay more? Let me know down below. And ultimately, it's going to be pretty interesting to see if a deal materializes, whether it's with the Lakers or another Western Conference team, because this would be a perfect buy low opportunity for any team. And I wouldn't want to be the Lakers if another really good team in the West gets Klay, just because I know, even though he's 35, like his shooting will age really well. I know he's going to figure out his 3-point shot, and he's playing in a pretty weird offense over there with Jason Kidd and the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, they're trying to get Cooper Flag touches, AD, Kyrie being out. They have a bunch of guys. They're losing a ton. So, and of course, all the drama from trading us, Luka Doncic. It'll be interesting there. Let me know down below what your thoughts are. A couple other things, though, before we wrap up. I want to speak out on, cover Deandre Ayton speaking out on their most recent loss and how it is more disappointing because they were missing a ton of their players. He said, yeah, that's why it's kind of like a hard pill to swallow for real. We know what we're coming up against, and seeing how they played phenomenal, but us not even competing in a sense. It looked bad on paper and looks bad on film. This is one of those games where the food is going to taste bad tonight, but this is the NBA. We got 82 games, next game up. And I actually like these comments from Deandre Ayton. He seems to be, despite all the people saying that he's a horrible locker room presence, all these different things, lazy, he's been trying, right? He's been working his butt off this season. He's had a few good games, a really good game against the Spurs. He still needs to step up and be, if this team wants to go really far, he might have to step up a little bit more. But at the end of the day here, he's playing fine. The team overall, like the ceiling's not falling down. Yes, they had a horrible loss. Ayton's averaging, 16 and 8. He's playing pretty good. Now, for the Lakers, you also have Redick coming out and being very critical of the way the team played. Was there a moment in the third quarter you realized this was not going to be one of those nights where your first unit was not going to get back? I realized that in the first 2 minutes of the game. And we'll have a full video covering this, but you can see there at the bottom, by far the shortest post-game presser from a frustrated Redick after the Lakers got blitzed by the short-handed Hawks. And Luka was playing. This team should have won that game. No matter what way you slice it, they should have won that game. And you can complain about who the Lakers were missing all you want. You have to win games like that if you want to compete in a very crowded, a very tight, and a very competitive Western Conference. So I like the comments by Ayton, and I also love this by Redick. You want to know why? Because he cares more than anybody in the league, I think, coaching-wise, about winning basketball games. He hates losing, and that obviously spreads to the players. And now we have Deandre Ayton, someone who's known for, at least in the past, not caring about winning, caring more than most. So that'll wrap it up. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on this. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on the crazy Klay Thompson trade. Things are going to get even crazier with the trade deadline inching closer and closer, but also the Lakers starting, hopefully, a new winning streak tomorrow.